Hi guys, it's Mrs. Hibbinger. I'm getting ready to read chapter 16 of Monster Street, The Boy Who Cried Werewolf. Chapter 16, Max Meets the Beast. When Max arrived at the barbed wire fence, Jade wasn't there. I'm too late, he thought. She must have already gone home. He gazed into the woods. There they were, dark and quiet, like something that had been asleep for 1,000 years and had no need to make its presence known. He sensed they were hiding something. Then he saw something that turned his blood cold. A blue ribbon caught on a branch, just a few feet on the other side of the barbed wire fence. No, he gasped. Without a second thought, Max climbed through the barbed wires, grabbed Jade's ribbon, and sprinted into the forest. He squinted, trying to see in the dark, but the canopy of the trees above blocked the moonlight. I have to find her, he thought, his guts a trembling pile of mush. He searched for hours, looking everywhere. He passed by streams and across narrow ravines, near caves and burrows, but there was no sign of her anywhere. No sounds, no footprints, no bouncing beam of her flashlight, and no hoodie either. I hope the hermit or the beast didn't get her, he thought, as he walked by a tree he had already passed 12 times. He sensed the night was nearly over. Just as he was about to turn around, a high-pitched yelp blared from behind a nearby bush. "Jade!" Max whispered in fright. The cry came again and again. It was excruciating, like she was wounded or trying to escape. He hurried as fast as he could toward her, hoping he could get there in time. Branches scratched his arms and legs, and cobwebs stuck to his face as he navigated through the warren of trees. Soon Jay's cries turned to whimpers. Max could hear the panic in her voice. It was the sound of a creature that knew it was about to die. But the closer he came to it, the less it sounded like Jade. That's an animal, he discerned. Right then, Max heard another sound, a deep, vicious growling. It rumbled like the engine of an old truck. Quickly, he hid behind a thicket of brush. He peeked through the mesh of the limbs and saw the beast. Faint moonlight poured through an opening in the forest ceiling and illumined the spot where the werewolf stood. Its shoulders were as broad as a tractor. Its snout was as long as a ruler. Its ears were giant pyramids that reached up towards the treetops. And its fur, that terrible prickly fur, reminded Max more of a porcupine than a puppy. But most striking of all were its razor-sharp fangs, dripping with saliva as it used its giant paws to lift a baby deer toward its gullet. The deer whimpered helplessly. I can't just let it die, Max thought, his heart chugging in its chest like a runaway train. If Jade were here, she'd do something. He reached down and felt the ground for a rock. Once he found one with jagged edges, he stood and he hurled it with all his might. It bounced off the werewolf's head, startling the beast. Max picked up another rock and threw it, and another. Until the werewolf dropped the baby deer, and the scared creature ran off into the woods to safety. Furious, the wolf sniffed the air, searching for the scent of its attacker. Max suspected the beast had night vision and could see in the dark. Unsure what to do, Max remained hidden behind the thicket, trying to hold his breath. Sniff, the beast's sniff sounded like a bull about to charge. Max could hear its paws crunching over the fallen leaves on the other side of the tree, tracking Max's scent, ready to pounce. Just as the beast arrived at the thicket, Max hurried and hid behind another tree. The beast sniffed the ground where Max had been standing, and Max knew He did not have much time. There were no other trees close enough to hide behind without the beast seeing him. With a shaky hand, Max lifted the silver knife from his sheath. He knew he'd only have one chance to pierce the werewolf's heart. The beast growled, sensing Max was close by. It moved quicker, louder, nearer. And just as its monstrous eyes peeked around the tree, Max slashed the blade toward it, stabbing with all his might. The werewolf let out a terrible cry. Ah! Did I kill it? Max wondered. Did I stab its heart? Max stepped out from behind the tree to survey the wounded creature, but a chill crept over him like a blanket. I missed, Max lamented. The knife had not pierced the werewolf's heart, but now stuck out of its eye socket like an extension of a gross Halloween mask. Ooh. Max panicked as he watched the beast yelping in pain as it tried to remove the dagger. Suddenly, the werewolf's ears began to transform into human ears, and its paws into human hands. The silver must repel the beast's nature and turn it back into its human form, Max thought in terror and excitement. Maybe that's why my father's experiment was all about. The werewolf turned and looked right at Max. It growled threateningly. Max froze, preparing for the beast's revenge. He wanted to see the face of the hermit, the man who killed his father. But before its human identity was revealed, it turned and darted off into the woods. Max wondered if he should track the beast and finish what his dad had started, but he suspected it was no use without the silver dagger. He felt his arms and legs to make sure he was still all in one piece, and was surprised to find that there was not a scratch or a bite mark anywhere on his body. Soon his thoughts turned back to Jade. I hope she escaped before the werewolf could get her. Knowing he was also out of time to go look for the hoodie, he looked toward the horizon. It was just starting to turn into light blue color, morning twilight. The sun will be rising soon, he thought. I need to get back to the cabin before Gramps and Grammy know where I was gone. But it was already too late for that.